Hey, welcome or welcome back. I'm Laura and this is Violet. How are we doing? Are we comfortable, cozy? Do you have some coffee? Do you have a snack? Are you ready for a little chit chat with me? She's starting to wake up from the nap right now, or maybe she'll go back to sleep, we'll see. Today I wanted to shoot a 3-month update for y'all, and this update's gonna be for me and for her. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about what it's been like for me postpartum and what it's been like for her first 3 months of life. Now, I will say that this is my first time being a mom, but I have had a lot of experience with kids because I used to be a nanny. I asked in my Instagram story if anyone had any questions for me or Violet, so let's get those out of the way first. Someone asked me how I came up with Violet's name. I loved this question because I love her name, her middle name, and her last name. When I was in my mid-20s, I wrote a sci-fi book for young adults, and I named my main character Violet. Purple's my favorite color. I think Violet is a beautiful name, and so when we found out that I was pregnant, we were thinking about names for if we had a girl, and we decided Violet. Her middle name is Persephone, and that's the goddess of spring, the changing of the seasons, and she's also married to Hades, so she's the queen of the underworld. We loved how she could be a mix of like springtime and change, but also kind of spooky as queen of the underworld. And then for her last name, we just hyphenated my last name and his last name because I didn't think that it was super fair for her to just have his last name. And another question that y'all had asked me was, what's something that I wish people had told me before I had her? Like, while I feel like I knew this, I didn't know that it would be this bad, but mom guilt. I feel like no matter what someone does, there's always going to be someone saying that you're doing it wrong. And that's such a sucky feeling. Or whatever you try to do for yourself or extra time you want to give yourself, you feel bad about that. I don't know, I just feel like no matter how hard I try, there's always a nagging voice just being like, that's not good enough, that's not right, you need to research that more, look into it. But yeah, it's just so heavy, the mom guilt. But, I know that I'm doing a good job. I know that there are other moms out there or parents that are doing the same thing I'm doing or would be supportive. So yeah, I wish that I had really understood the weight that is mom guilt. So let's talk about my postpartum journey. I'm not going to go into my birth story. That's for another video. But let's just say I wanted to have an unmedicated birth at a birth center, and that is not what ended up happening. I did labor for 24 hours and was at a birth center, but I ended up having to go to a hospital where I tried to push some more, and I ended up getting a C-section. I was not mentally prepared for what it would be to get a C-section. I couldn't... The first few days were kind of a blur because, of course, you're on medication for the pain relief and not sleeping at all, or at least for me, I couldn't really sleep. So let's just say that when I got home for the first week or two, I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't bend or twist or pick up much more than her, and I wasn't prepared for that. I had been planning to have a vaginal birth. So it's been healing pretty well, I think. By the time my 6 weeks were up, I felt pretty good. Like I could do some light exercise or vacuum for myself or things like that. But I did overdo it one day on housework, and I had like this terrible, like sharp, tingling, like really consistent pain in my side. And I did some researching and I figured out that it's nerve damage, and it's my nerves healing there, and it was really scary because I was like, oh my god, did something pop inside? Is there, like, did a stitch come loose? Even though I knew that, like, they also dissolve and heal on the inside, but I was just really worried about it. Like, maybe it's a hernia. But now it's feeling much better. I've taken it more easy. Before I had Violet, I was always running around the house doing household chores and tasks and like giving it 120%. After her, not so much. I did get some stretch marks, some on my boobs, some on my stomach, and some like on the upper sides of my thighs. But I mean, they're not that intense, which if they were, that would be okay too. I think they're kind of pretty. They're kind of shiny in the light if I turn certain ways. I don't think they're anything to complain about personally for me. I do still have a lot of the weight that I gained during pregnancy. When I was the most pregnant, I was almost to 180, and now I am, this is 3 months later, like 145. I feel like I've lost a lot, but I'm still not back to where I was when I got pregnant with her, and I don't think I will be for a long time, and that's okay. I love the way my body is now. Things are situated a little bit different on my body than they used to be, but I think that's okay. I had a baby. She changed me forever, and I am so grateful for that. My nipples are different than what they were before, but from what I've heard, they could kind of go back to what they were before. My boobs are a lot bigger than they were before. I used to have a very small, flat chest, and as much as I hated it back then, like now I miss my tiny little boobs. I also think that my feet are bigger than they were before. Even after, now that all the swelling has gone down, I still think my feet are bigger. There, that's better. That's better. I had tried to breastfeed, and I was really set on breastfeeding for a year, but I only ended up doing it for like a month because she was dropping weight, and the pediatrician recommended that I start supplementing formula, and so I did, and then she ended up just like barely getting anything from my boobs, so we just switched to formula completely. And like, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is to, sure, you can plan, sure, you can know what you want it to be, but like, let go of those expectations that everything is going to be just what you want it to be. You will be very disappointed if you think that it's always going to be your way. But now she's drinking formula, she's gained so much weight, and she's doing amazing. I'm happy about it. I thought that, well, honestly, after the doctor told me that she needed to go on formula, the doctor left the room and I just started sobbing because I had already felt like I had failed the birth plan, and now I was failing the plan for breastfeeding, and it really made me upset. But now it's okay. Now that I've let go of those expectations, I can just be thankful that she's okay and allow myself to feel those feelings and then let them pass. Mental health wise, I feel pretty good. I was very emotional the first few weeks. As an adopted person, it was a little bit triggering for me to see how much thought and care went into taking care of a little infant, and thinking about how about how I did not get that as a little baby like that, and like that was really difficult. But now that's not as present in my mind, and I've kind of made peace with that. But I did not realize how triggering having a baby would be for me as an adopted person that went through foster care. Before I was pregnant, I was really depressed because I wanted to be pregnant. But I mean, I've always dealt with depression. But while I was pregnant, it was probably some of the best mental health that I've ever had. And after having her, it's like I got exactly what I wanted. I had wanted her for so long. I tell her all the time that, like, I've been waiting for her my whole life, and, like, it is so true. I always wanted her. I didn't know who she would be, but I wanted her. And now she's here, and it's surreal. Like, I cannot believe that I get to be a mom, and I get to be a parent. And, like, I totally get it. Some people don't want to be parents at all, and they want to do all kinds of other awesome stuff. But for me personally, like, this is what I wanted. I wanted to lead my home and be a mother and care for my own child instead of other people's. I mean, I loved caring for other people's kids, but, like, getting to care for my own is the most amazing gift. And it's like hard. I know that it's okay to want to be all those things, but then again, I'm like a queer feminist person who is like very liberal and like to want to stay home and cook and clean and care for my child and decorate the house and make sure that there's like fresh flowers, and who does like embroidery and watercolor. Like, it feels so strange to have those two different things happening at once for me. I will clean the house top to bottom in my vintage nightgown and embroider later and sing to my child, but I'm also queer, and my boyfriend and I are polyamorous. Not practicing right now, but when I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable with my body and Violet gets a little bit older, like, we will. I haven't seen a lot of other moms on YouTube that straddle those two lines between being like queer and alternative and adventurous, but also very much a homemaker and a mother, and I don't know. And being postpartum, I've had to deal a lot with my identity and what that all means to me. I don't know, I just want to be like real with y'all because I admire that so much when I see it from other YouTubers like Victoria Hunter or Embers and Ash. I really enjoy Sarah Kate as well. So I need to change the battery on the camera because I think we're running pretty low, and I'll be right back and we'll talk a little bit about how little Violet's doing. Okay, is this about where I was before? What do you think? Oh, my back hurts. Oh, another thing no one told me about was that my back would hurt constantly. And even though I did kind of have back problems before, my back has never hurt like this. Okay, let's bust you out of there. Let's bust you out of that thing. What do you say? What do you say, my love? Let's do it. Let's just get you out of there. Okay. So I've recently started trying to put bows on her. Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha right here. Okay. Oh, she's a big one. I gotcha. Mommy's got you. So this is little Violet Persephone. Violet is growing like she should ever since she's been on formula. She's been a really good sleeper since she's been home. She's learned all kinds of cool tricks. She is rolling from her tummy to her back. She is reaching for things and grabbing them. She talks to me and makes faces. She can focus on the TV or things that we put in front of her. She thinks it's really funny when her dad holds her cheeks and goes, she loves it. It's not as funny when I do it. What do you think? You like that? Not nearly as funny as when Mason does it, but still. She really is just like the best thing that's ever happened. She has outgrown her newborn clothes and her 0 to 3 month clothes, and now she's in 3 to 6. I just switched her closet over yesterday from 0 to 3 to 3 to 6, and she likes it so much more. She also wants to sit up all the time. Like, she's not really into just laying down, which I understand. She wants to be a big kid and sit up and use those muscles. She's great at holding up her head. She's learning how to sit up. She makes all kinds of cool noises and faces. Did you want this? Do you want your rattle? You want something to try to hold? You can try to get that. I'm trying to figure out if she's teething or not. She's really putting her fist in her mouth and kind of gnawing on it. And she's been drooling a lot more, but she's like gonna be through 3 months in a few days, and like that feels really early. Plus I've looked at her gums and I'm like, I don't think that there's little tooth buds, but like maybe? I don't know. We'll see about that. We'll see. She has really good neck control. She's found her hands. She started the whole rolling over process, so she can go from her stomach to her back, and she can go from her back to her side. What do you think? Do you have anything you want to say? Okay, wow. Strong words from a strong woman. I appreciate that. Definitely. Absolutely, Violet. Okay, I am back once again. It was time for her to have a bottle. She is very upset. Understandably so. She's at the point now that she's taking 5 ounces whenever she's hungry. And the bottles that I like the best are these Dr. Brown's that have the straw going down the bottom. And those are working out pretty well for us so far. She has a pretty regular sleep schedule. She is sleeping through the night except for one wake up. She is sleeping pretty regularly. She'll sleep from like 9 to 12, and then we'll feed her again at 12, and then she usually won't wake up until about 7, which I think is pretty awesome. And I like to give her a bigger bottle, like about 6 ounces, whenever she does her like 12 o'clock at night feeding. That time varies because she's not exactly on a set schedule. She has more of a cycle. And it's not that big of a deal to me because I get to stay here with her. I don't have to go into work or anything like that. And I'm not ready to start like dictating when she needs to be sleeping or not. Like, she can tell me. I just kind of listen to her about it. What, baby? What? Oh, here's Perry. Have you come to join us? Hi, my love. This is our big old lady cat, Perry. She is just the sweetest. We adopted her a couple of years ago whenever we moved in here. Perry, girl. Not my dips. The cats have been getting along great with her. They will lay close to her sometimes and kind of sniff her, but they don't mess with her at all. I have seen Angus trying to make biscuits on her blankets, but that's about it. And here's Angus. Don't eat my crackers. You can lay here, but don't eat my crackers. He is a year old, a year and some months. He's usually up to no good, but I love him for that. Okay, you can stay there. I tell you what. So I talked about postpartum with my body and my mental health and kind of where I'm at. I talked about Violet and her milestones and how she's doing. If you have any questions for me, you can follow me on Instagram at laura.slate and ask me whatever. I post new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Sometimes I do cleaning, sometimes some DIY stuff, or a craft, or I'll be doing some vintage stuff soon. Always stuff about parenting. I try to keep things pretty body positive, sex positive. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot to talk about having sex after not having much during my pregnancy and not being able to for the first 6 weeks after being pregnant. It was so nice to reconnect and have that intimacy again. And I got really lucky because it wasn't like painful, it was just enjoyable. And it's so nice to have that facet of our relationship back. But yeah, sex is great. I'm glad that I can enjoy it again. Thank you so much for watching. It was really nice to be able to just talk to y'all for a little bit and give y'all an update about how it's been going for me and for her first 3 months of life. I felt like this was really comfortable, and I would love to do more just like sitting down talking videos like this, or maybe I can be doing a little art project or something, rather than just like drinking coffee and eating crackers. I'm glad Angus could join us today. So that's all for this time. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends about me, leave a comment. Was there anything that surprised you about what I said? Do you have any more questions for me about how I'm doing or how Violet's doing? Please let me know. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. Bye. You think you could give me a big stinky burp? Woo, good job. Oh my goodness. You knocked that one out of the park, my love. This is a big win. Just a big burp. You can have it. Woo, woo, woo. You can have it.